Good morning. It's now about 7:30 in the morning on Monday the 30th of June. Now normally at this time I'd be on my way to work, but today, as I've got a few extra days holiday to use up, I thought I'd come down the plot as it's so nice and get a full day in. So, I'll give you a quick run around the plot, show you what's happened since last time, which was the summer solstice, the 21st, so we're talking like 9 days ago. First thing to notice, the weeds are back. They're just getting horrendously tall. I'm going to borrow the strimmer today and go over this, clip it all right down, and then try and do my best to get on top of it and clear some of this and build extra beds and so on. But anyway, Brussels sprouts plants. Now, last time we looked, we had one monster which is still there, and two others. Now, I've got two left there. I think I'm going to transplant the one in the middle there to over here, so it's got a bit of space, because at the moment that big one is just taking so much space, more than I ever imagined it would. It's actually pressing on the side of the cage already. So I don't think these two stand much of a chance if it gets much bigger. This one on the right hand side is a healthier plant, so I'm going to transplant this, the weaker one, and hope it survives. The rest of the brassicas at the back that were put in last Saturday are doing well. These cabbages were bigger than the smaller ones, the cauliflowers, and the one Swede remaining at the back is looking very healthy. It's not bolting at all. I'm hopeful I'll get one Swede at least this year. I might plant some more shortly. Okay, the square foot gardening bed. Now last week I planted some tomatoes and some of the lettuces in, and this time I've also planted some fennel. I've got 7 fennel plants in there, one in each square. I've also planted some carrots at this end. I've planted sown rather, some carrots. Manchester carrots, nothing showing at the moment, but the carrots do take a long time to come up. I know that, so I'm not too concerned about that. What else to show you? Oh yeah, broad beans. I had some broad beans in pots which were long overdue for going in. They're now down in here, just nestling in a tiny corner behind the fruit bushes. Don't expect much from them, to be honest, but they're all looking healthy. They're all going bright, really dark green at the top, which was pale green before from being in the pots. So hopefully they'll do fine. End of the onion bed, I planted a squash. Now this is a pumpkin, I believe, which will give it plenty of space to go. No female flowers at the moment, but then again it hasn't started vining either, so I'm not too concerned about that. Strawberries and raspberries, absolutely going ballistic. I've got hundreds of flowers on the raspberries. I've had a few raspberries off them, but it seems like only one cane has fruited so far, and that wasn't really worth writing home about. Not a huge amount in it, so I've left that. Now, I've got some leeks. They arrived as a surprise package last Saturday, part of the cauliflower and brassica as such. I'm still 10 leeks missing, so I'm going to write to Thompson and Morgan and tell them I'm a packet missing, because everything else has been with me now for a week, and it's a long time for it to wait for in the post, so I'm not having that. Right, over here we have the first step on the path, which is going to go alongside the pond. Got a bit of work to do on that yet. I've got a board to put up along this side to edge it properly, and then I can put the flags down on top of the matting from the pond, the leftover liner. And then this bit here is going to be cleared out, soil put in there, weed fabric underneath it, or cardboard or something like that, soil put in there for it to all become a planting area. I'm going to put some herbs in there, I think, on the edge of this decking needs finishing off. Hopefully today I might be able to find a friend nearby who's got a circular saw who'll cut that to size for me. That's cutting an 8-foot piece of wood straight, it's going to be a real pain. Okay, moving quickly onwards. The beans. Now, these are purple climbing beans I've got in here, on both sides. Now the ones on this side, nearest to me, are the ones that I planted up in the polytunnel. And there's about 7 of them there, which are doing fine. The ones behind and the ones on that side are ones I planted from seed. There's not much difference. They're catching up. Now these are climbers, so I'm looking at putting like a sort of a frame together to put them up. I've got some trellis I brought from home which wasn't needed anymore. It's about 6 foot tall. I'm going to make a sort of a wigwam with it. and put the trellis in between the rows of beans. So one grows up the outside, one grows up the inside, because I've got 2 rows on either side here. I'll show you when I've finished anyway. Also in the middle there, and there, that's been a bit eaten by something, presumably pigeons standing on the edge, are some squashes, hawk squash. So they should be fine, and they should grow and twine around underneath the beans. That's the plan anyway. Now this bed that last week was full has been emptied. I've only emptied it today because I didn't get time last week. And this is going to be dug over and composted the same way I did before. As you can see, there's huge cracks in the ground, which is where the clay has just solidified. And I mean, there's an inch gap all the way around, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But that's just the compression and the compaction of the clay in the soil. It's just drying up so much. So as before, what I'm going to do with this is fork it over, dig it over, and then cover it with an inch thick layer of compost, which should hopefully cover. Got a big bag at the top there, B&Q compost. It's good enough for this sort of stuff, so I'm going to throw it on top and then plant into that. Not sure what I'm going to plant into here yet. I have got some sweet corn which still got to go in. I'll show you those later, but I planted 32 sweet corn. Last Saturday 25 have come up, now the other 7 have come up. I've got all 32, 100% success rate, which is fantastic. I mean, last year I got 7 out of 22 seeds, a 1 in 3 success. This time I got 100%. Can't say fairer than that. And that's from a company called Real Seeds I got them from. They're a bicolour sweet corn, heritage variety. I would recommend them to anybody. Everything I've had from them has germinated. If not 100%, then 90% is a minimum. And it's been really, really good. And they're cheap. And they're fast with the delivery as well. I think I ordered on a Monday and got the stuff on the Wednesday. So you can't say better than that. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this now. This bed, as I say, is next to be turned over, and I'll come back to you and show you this when I've finished, and I'll show you the beans and the contraption I'm going to be putting up to for them to climb up, which hopefully will last a bit longer than last year's, because last year's, if you remember, had the bean arch with hazel and willow poles, and it just collapsed under the weight and under the wind blowing on it. This time I think I've got it right, and we'll see. Anyway, that's enough of me prattling on for now. I'm going to get on with this, and I'll come back to you a little bit later and show you what I've done. Just leave you with a shot of my wonderful red currants, which are doing fantastic. They're going to be harvested today by the looks of it. I can't see a green one on there. Anyway, all for now. Bye bye. Hello again. I'm partway through digging this bed over, forking it over, but I thought I'd just give you a quick look at the state of the soil. As you can see, this has just been forked over. There's about 2/3 of the bed done, and you see the contrast between the flat stuff in the front and the moonscape behind. Now that's what I have to deal with. That's how it's coming out of the ground. I'm being bashed with the fork as well. It just won't break up. However, I do have a special weapon in my armoury, which I can show you. This is a tool of choice. Now, I'm not sure what it's called, but it is an extremely good tool for breaking up the soil. And you just simply chop it down and break up all the lumps. So once I finish digging this over, I'm going to go over it with this tool, chop it all down. I'm so glad I discovered this last year. It's the best tool for the job for breaking up the huge lumps like they have here, and I'll show you what it's like when I'm finished. But just so you know, that's the comparison of what it is now, and in a couple of minutes, if I get it all done, I will put on a video of what it looks like when I'm mostly finished, so you can see the difference. Hi folks, and welcome back. This bed has now been chopped. As you can see, it's not quite a fine tilth, but it's a damn sight better than it was. The interesting thing as well is, of course, now I've chopped this all, it's become a raised bed again rather than edge bed, because before there was about 3 or 4 inches gap from the top of the bed down to where the soil level was. Now it's all been chopped and aerated, then we're back up to the top again. Now one thing I must stress as well is that tool I was using, fantastic, but when you sharpen it, it is so much better. I've just used a simple edging stone to sharpen it, and it's cut through the lumps like they were butter. Most of it was silt, admittedly. There was only a little bit in here that was clay, but it went through those no problems. I've also taken out a lot of the roots, as you can see there. There weren't a lot of roots, just enough to cause me a problem later. So I took all those out as I was forking it over, so I didn't chop them all up. I've not got them all out. There's bound to be some in there, but it's manageable now. The next thing to do is spread a thin layer of compost over the top of this, level it off, and then I'm going to plant something into this. I have no idea what I'm going to put in this. Probably the sweet corn, to be honest. Sweet corn's about 4 or 5 inches tall now, so I've got 32 sweet corn to put in, one of which hasn't sprouted yet, so that'll go in later. I'll usually leave a space on the end of the block for that. So I've got to work out how many sweet corn I can get in here and what sort of a block I can do them in. 32 sweet corn, you know, it's going to be 4 by 8, but that's not going to be enough space. Well, sorry, the bed is too big across to put 4 across. I'm going to end up probably 6 across. So I might end up with 5 6s, and no, sorry, not 5 6s. Yeah, 5 6s and a 2 on their own, stuck on the end of the block. Still effectively in a block, but won't be that bad. So that's probably going to cover half of this, and I've got about 14 parsnips. So what I'm going to do with those, I'm going to ram a hole down anyway, fill it with compost, and then plant the parsnip into that. So what I might do is I might just measure out how much space I need for the sweet corn at the bottom of the bed down there, put the sweet corn in down there with the compost covering the top of the soil. Then this bit at this end, I won't need to put compost all the way over and planting parsnips into tunnels filled with compost. They're in toilet roll middles at the moment. I think I've got 14 of them left, so I could do that from here. I could just ram some holes in with a big metal bar I've got, get them down a good 6 inches, maybe more. Actually, I'll have to go further with parsnips, won't I? Probably about 10-12 inches. Make a cone by wiggling the rod sideways, fill it with compost and plant the toilet roll middle straight into the compost. And then behind them I've got some giant parsnip seeds which I thought I'd lost and I've found again. So I can use some of those, and any space I've got left I'll fill those with giant parsnips, get the rod down a good 2 foot, maybe more if I can do it, hammer it in, and then wiggle it around to loosen it, and have myself a huge cone which I can fill with compost and plant the seed straight into that. That'll save on the compost, it'll get compost into the ground as well, and it's a plan. Anyway, I'll come back later and show you what I've done. Bye for now. Okay guys, back again, end of the day. Been here for a long time today and I feel like I've done a huge amount, but it's getting there slowly but surely. Now, this is the framework I was talking about for the beans. As you can see, it's just simply 2 trellises which are fastened together at the top with cable ties, and it's fastened to a post at that side which should hopefully stop it from moving. Now these are French climbing beans I've got on here, which have got purple pods when they come up, hopefully. I've got 2 rows either side of the trellis. The idea being as they will grow up through it and to the top, and it'll be easy to collect through the middle. Not quite an arch as I had last time, but that failed miserably, so carrying on with this one. Plenty of space in the middle there to plant some other squashes perhaps. I'll wait and see how these do, these hawk squashes. This one at this end has been nibbled. I don't know what's nibbling it, but hopefully it'll survive and we'll carry on and get something decent from it. Right, I'll show you what else I've done. The bed that I was chopping up to a fine tilth is now unrecognisable from what it was before. I have got the sweet corn at this end. I've got 31 sweet corn in here. The 32nd is still in still out in the polytunnel. It's only breaking the surface. I'll leave that one, see if it actually survives, and if it grows any bigger, then do that. At the top end up here, I have got 24 parsnips in this end. As you can see, they're only tiny things, but they weren't doing anything in the polytunnel. I was growing them in toilet roll, doing nothing at all. So if they survive out here, fantastic. If they don't, well, they don't. And then in this here, where you can see the circles of compost, these are holes which are just over 2 foot deep, which is 60 centimetres in new money for all of you who don't understand feet and inches. And I've made them with a big metal pole and wriggled it around, and so the top is probably about 15-16 centimetres across. And these are my giant exhibition long parsnips. I succumbed and bought a pack of long parsnips. God knows why I did it. I didn't want long parsnips, but still I've got them, so they're in here. So there's a dozen there. We shall see how they do. Now the other thing that I've done today, I've taken out some more of my Red Duke of Yorks. I said before I was a bit concerned about them because I thought they might be getting blighted or what have you. Now this is my yield, small pot as you can see, from 4 potato plants. Probably a couple of kilos in total, which isn't a huge amount. Now one of the plants only gave me 2 potatoes, of which this was one, so it's a decent sized potato, but the other one was half that size. That was it, 2 potatoes from one plant. Ridiculous. So I wouldn't think I'd be growing these again. I'd be interested to know if any of you out there are growing Red Duke of York. Have you had the same experience with the yield? Have you actually dug yours up yet? But the plants are looking pretty sparse and spindly. When you compare them to the ones at the back there, which is the Maris Pear, on the right hand side of that bed you've got the pink fir apple. And when you compare them to this bed here, which is all Cara on this right hand side, then Sarpo Mira, and then your pink fir apple on the end, I mean, first earlies, they're pathetic. These are absolutely fantastic plants. But is this unusual? Have I got a problem here with the plant, with the ground? There's not a problem with the plant. So if anybody knows, please let me know, because at the moment I'm not growing these again next year. As you can see, the row I've taken out, I've used the space already. I put up another one of these trellises on its side this time, and I've got peas in there. Now these peas have been in pots for a long time, and they're not past the best. As you can see, they're getting crispy edges, yellow leaves, etc. But they'll come back, I know they will. At this end here, I've got about 12 plants of early onwards, so hopefully they will sprout and go up here quite quickly. On this right hand side, this is Kelvin Wonder. Now these plants are looking particularly poorly. One of them there, poor little thing in the middle, it's got crispy brown leaves, only one green leaf. But I'm hoping it'll come back. And in the middle, I've got a mystery bean. I planted a lot of things at home, wrote the labels have worn off. Yeah, so typical, I haven't got a clue what that is. But anyway, that's what I've done today, not a huge amount. Harvested, put these in. The hardest bit was getting the holes for these parsnips. Because that took a lot of hammering on a metal pole to get it down that far. I was trying to go for 90 centimetres because that's what I was told I needed. No way in this soil am I going to get 90 centimetres with it in there. It took me long enough to get it down to 60. So anyway, 2 foot deep, 60 centimetres in the middle. See how we do. And the Sweetcorn at the back. I think it's actually looking quite good now. I've got virtually every bed is full, virtually. The problem is I've still got a load of stuff to go in. I've got nowhere to put it. Anyway, that's another problem for another day. Just realised as well, this is the last weekend of the month, and I normally do my run round the rest of the allotment. Haven't got time for that today because it's gone 6 o'clock and I've got to get home. And my wife's just been up and just done an inspection on the bees, and so she's sat waiting for me to come. So I can't hang around too long. Another 15 minutes wandering around the plot will not go down too well. So I'll do that next weekend on the 1st of the month rather than the last of the month. So you will get a run around the plot, you will get to see what everybody else is doing and how well they're doing compared to me, which is probably a lot better in most cases. In fact, in all cases, I think, to be honest. And I'll leave you there. Sun setting over the allotment in Manchester. I'm very pleased. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all later. Bye for now.